This podcast is part of the Listen Frederick Podcast Network. To learn more, visit listenfrederick.com.
What's up, everybody? It's episode 73 of Beers in the Lot. Yet another great episode for you this week. We were missing Danny, but this week, Riggs and Johnny and I talked about the Winter Classic and a couple various things that happened during the broadcast that were pretty cool, or some things that we were a little bit perturbed with. And after yet another clip of PK Subban trying to slew foot somebody came out, we got into a little bit of talk on player safety. So let's get to it.
Yeah, Yen's on Team Poor. Let's see. Aaron, what you got?
I have an interesting one.
Okay.
This came out of my pack, my subscription pack, of course. And it's from Payette Brewing in Idaho. It is called Sofa King Sunny. It is a hazy pale ale.
Aaron.
We'll see how this goes.
Aaron.
Honestly, it's actually not terrible so far. The first drink is not making me want to put it down.
Is it ice cold?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's pretty cold.
Did your due diligence on that one?
I did, yes. What you got, Johnny?
From New Belgium Brewing Company, I have Voodoo Ranger, which is a Juicy Haze IPA. So yeah. Standard. You know, a lot of people, if you're into craft beers and try some, you end up either with this beer or like a Flying Dog or, you know, something similar to this. So good standard staple. What about you, Riggs?
I have from Night Shift Brewing in Everett, Massachusetts, Picnic Vice. It's a sour ale with peaches and apricots, or apricots, depending on how you pronounce
where you live.
Yeah.
Or apricots. If it suits you.
Yeah. It's this is a holdout. I've had it in the fridge probably longer than I should have. Our good friend Brandon McGee of Flying Dog fame actually left it at the house one weekend, and I hadn't opened it yet, so I decided New Year's as good a time as any.
Why not?
Because if not, it'll sit in your fridge another year.
Yeah, it's actually, I don't know why I held off. It's actually really good. So yeah,
nice.
And Night Shift makes great stuff. So if you're ever in the Boston area, go to Night Shift. They're great.
So we're missing Danny tonight. Got some family stuff going on, so we'll see him next week. But we got plenty to talk about, just the three of us, right?
Always.
Do we?
I don't know. Nobody will shut up on Discord all day, so
It's true.
It's got to be something.
Well, Aaron, did you catch any of the Winter Classic?
I actually didn't.
Didn't?
I had a lot going on, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. But I did catch some of the highlights and some of the cool stuff that happened. So looks
Very
like
cool.
it was really, really fun. I'm sad that I didn't get a chance to watch it, but looks like looked like the Wild kind of got rolled on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they haven't been playing well anyway, and they've had injuries and COVID and all kinds of stuff going on. So, and the Blues were kind of playing better coming in. So, I don't know. The Wild tried.
They tried.
They try their darndest.
They were there.
Yeah, I mean they put a little bit of effort up, but St. Louis really came out They did everything they needed to do very early, and then Jordan Kyrou, he looked pretty damn good. I mean, I hate if you follow like the NHL enough, you know who that name is. But obviously, the Winter Classic, it's more to the NHL to attract newer fans, casual fans, if you will, like kind of bring those people in. Like I think if you follow, especially a lot of the Western Conference teams or do fantasy hockey, like you know who Jordan Kyrou is. So he looked good. I did the highlight for me. I mean, just subtract like the freezing cold temperature. I like the fact that the St. Louis Blues followed up on what the Bruins did in the Tahoe games last year, where they kind of had like almost like baseball teams do it every year. They have a theme road trip, you know, they'll do like an NFL one or a Flintstones or Halloween, and they all dress up in the, you know, costumes or attire of whatever. So last year was the Bruins with like the early 90s, late 80s kind of ski motif. And then the St. Louis Blues did the beach theme. David Frank came out of the bus with like a cooler and stuff. They're all wearing shorts and sandals and letting their man fur show and stuff. It was great. I liked it a lot. So did you hear the little tidbit about Jordan Binnington after the game, what he said?
He bought like 30 lumberjack outfits for them to all wear. And they went with the beach theme. So he has like all these lumberjack outfits.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I heard something Doug Armstrong did an interview. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. He was talking about how leading up to the game, you know, he wanted everybody to have fun and enjoy it and, you know, take in the spectacle that is the Winter Classic, because it's one of the few times in the NHL season where it's highly encouraged, you know, to bring your family in, and it's always around the holidays. So it's a big kind of team celebration. You always see the guys with beers afterwards and stuff. It's one time they get like a little bit of a break. And he apparently told a lot of the leadership group on the St. Louis Blues, like, hey, I want you guys to have fun and all that. But remember, normally in the regular season, you remember the games you win, not the games you lose. So like kind of tie this memory to a win versus, you know, going out and getting shellacked. So they came out and they played really well. Minnesota, like Rigsby said, they've had issues leading into it. Not that I don't think they played that bad, but they didn't look like they were that outgunned, but they just didn't play great. I think
they look like a team that just, that moment was too big for them at that time, right? Like they've been struggling, and then to have that, you know, yeah, it's just another regular season game, 2 points or whatever, but it's this huge spectacle, you know, with the pregame and the whole thing. Ryan Hartman skating out on that trail, and he trips and falls on his face, and like, you know, like everything just kind of went wrong from the beginning, you know, for them. And, you know, the first goal didn't come for a while in the first period, but they were getting badly outshot. They hardly had the puck at all. So you could kind of see where it was going. But I don't know. It's always a good show to watch, right? Like it was -10 Fahrenheit at one point during the game. The guys were clearly fighting the cold. We had some goalie friends tell us that you could tell that the goalies were struggling. So, you know, it's just interesting to watch and a lot of fun, and everything but the music was good.
Yeah, the music was just brutal, like we always say. Well, who was it? It was Panger pointed out on the broadcast. It was either Binnington or Talbot, or maybe both. Instead of drinking water, they were drinking chicken broth.
Yeah.
Because it's a good way to replenish the salts that you're losing from the sweat, but also it's warm. So like you can kind of, you know, heat your body up, keep your temperature up. And I was like, I don't know 100% about that. I mean, those NHL guys, they don't do stuff like that for no reason. There's always a reason. Like, and there is like a lot of, you see like a bunch of athletes and shit. They eat bone broth and all that nonsense. I'm not a baby. I don't need that. I want real meat and stuff. Like I just like chicken broth during a hockey game. That does not sound
That sounds
Well,
terrible.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you have guys that eat the mustard packets on the
And
bench
pickles. Yeah.
during games and stuff.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Supposedly there's science behind the mustard thing that
Hmm.
it like helps you. It helps
Cramps
you
or something.
like, yeah, but it's not like a hydration thing. It's like a chemical thing that helps like introduce the chemical or helps your body produce the chemical to help with the muscle cramps.
Is it
Really-
for muscles? I thought that mustard stuff was like they'd smell it. You're talking about the stuff they sniff, right?
No, they actually
No,
take
that's smelling salts. I'm talking about mustard packets.
It was Brian Little. Brian Little did it, and I forget. There's a few other NHL players. They popped mustard packets, and were like, and not like they don't have like a bottle of yellow Heinz behind the bench, and they're squeezing
no,
their
it's
mouth.
packets.
It's a little packet,
Yeah.
and they were taking like one and just kind of popping it, squeezing it in their mouth, and then they go back on their shift, and then oh man, I forget who it was.
Wasn't Tanev doing it? Wasn't Turbo doing
Tanev,
it?
I think, did it, or somebody else. And then
Yeah.
Blake Coleman was doing something. I think he was drinking pickle juice, like
Yeah, but
diluted
that's
pickle
like a
juice because of the
thing,
salts
though.
and stuff.
Yeah, but that's
salts.
the thing. Like Olympic athletes do that, and that's like a thing.
Well, no NHL players are Olympic athletes this year. I don't know why they're taking
Womp, womp.
Wah, wah, wah. But yeah, it's just weird. And then this is on like the heels of like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Emily Kaplan. I mean, it was known in this area if you follow the Caps pretty heavily, but like, Ovi drinks soda during the game and stuff. Like a child.
Different sodas, right? It's
Yeah.
like Pepsi in the first period, Dr. Pepper in the third. or
Dr.
something.
Pepper and then Dr. Pepper and then Dr. Pepper and then Coke. None of that Dr. Thunder or any of that stuff. He wants the name brand
No,
stuff.
he wants the name brands.
Yeah.
He wants to pay
Yeah.
the extra $2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just hey, listen, kids, if you're listening, you cannot drink those sodas and
Actually-
score as many goals as Alexander.
No.
Do you
Ovechkin.
remember?
No.
Do you remember a few years ago, Cristiano Ronaldo? It was during the was it during the Euro Cup? He took the podium and they had like Coke and Dasani, and he took the Coke bottles and like put them under the
I
table.
do
And the
remember that.
sponsors-
Yeah.
The sponsors got all mad, but he straight up said, he was like, "You should only drink water. Just don't drink that stuff. Like drink
Nice.
water." And the sponsors got mad, and he was like, kind of like, "What? I'm like telling kids like drink water. Like I'm doing. It's still a Coke brand. Like I don't see the problem with
It's
it."
Dasani. Yeah, it's still Coke. You're still making money. What else you got?
They announced the women's Olympic team.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I didn't look at it.
Yeah, they did during the Winter Classic broadcast, but
Huh.
TNT chose to have their announcers speak over top of it while they were announcing the roster. So
What were
while
they-
they're announcing the roster, they have the team at the Winter Classic. They're on the field. They're all lined up, and the camera dude is going from player to player, showing their face, and they smile and wave, right? And they're announcing it in the ballpark there. But as this is going on, and they're showing the video on the TV, Liam McHugh and Jen Botterill are just jibber jabbering about how the Olympics might go and who's on the team and who's not, and USA versus Canada and all this stuff through the whole announcement of the team.
That's crap.
Yeah,
Well-
think I call foul on that. I think
Well, go ahead with your theory.
would
I
they be
got an
doing
opinion
it
too.
for the men's team? Like, come on.
Yes.
Why?
They would have announced, they would have done this. I'm not saying talk over them, but they would have announced in conjunction with the Winter Classic.
Oh,
the
absolutely.
men's
Yeah,
national
right.
team.
absolutely.
I'm talking
but-
about the talking over. Would they have
Right.
talked over the men's announcement? Like, you can't do that.
right. That's
Well,
what I'm saying.
My other theory on that, Jen Botterill is also a Canadian and played on several Canadian Olympic teams.
Got it.
I wouldn't be shocked if she I'm saying she's just fame blocking Team USA.
It doesn't matter. Liam McHugh is there running the show. He's anchoring the broadcast. They have directors. They have producers.
Yeah, other people behind the scenes couldn't cut their mics and say, "Hey, this is important."
And oh, by the way, it's an American broadcast. It's NHL on TNT, right? It's not Sportsnet. It's not TSN, right? Like, I call foul, man. I think that was that's
wrong.
Not cool. I think if you wanted to do analysis of the roster after they announce it, awesome. That is actually probably the ideal way to present it, right?
Yeah.
Introduce the team, get it in front of the casual fan, right? Get it in front of the kids at home that are watching, and then talk about the team after. But while it's going on, like, I just think it was a huge distraction from what was really happening.
Yeah, I'm looking at the roster now. I mean, these are names that people know. People would hear some of these. Would they be waiting for some of these names? And I don't know why they would do that. I agree.
Especially now, it's like kind of, I wouldn't call it a straight changing of the guard for Team USA women's, but it's pretty damn close. Like, this is the last ride, I would suspect, for quite a few of them.
Yeah, a few of them are probably getting towards the end of their careers, but yeah, I mean, still names that people recognize, and they're going to want to watch them. I mean, they're going to want to see them do well. So hearing the announcement is
Kessel,
Kendall Coyne, Schofield, yeah. These
and then you got a few
names people know.
Younger ladies like Abby Rock, Lee Steckline, Zoomwinkle. You got younger players coming in, so it's a good time for Team USA, and they kind of botch that. They're too busy talking about some guy's facial hair. It sucks anyway.
Yeah, I don't
nice
like
broom. Yeah, nice broom. Who cares?
So I take back what I said about everything being good, but the music, everything was good, but the music and that part, the announcement of the USA women's team, I thought that was bad.
I agree. I didn't watch it, but
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch the game, but I heard about this, and I agree.
I watch every.
That's a bad
I
look.
make a point to at least watch like the end of the Winter Classic every year. I like seeing it on TV. I love the fact they did this one at night. I like it better at night. There's something more magical when it's under the lights.
Yes.
And I realize sometimes I've had to like adjust it because of weather. I know last year when they did the Lake Tahoe games, they actually didn't want them during the night, but they had to because of the glare. But it looks cooler when it's at night. It really does. There's something cool about it, and especially like in a baseball stadium where you get that kind of like the lights are perfect in a baseball stadium. Football stadium, not so much, but the baseball lights, there's something about the way they're always pointed and it's always at that action spot. It's great. It's the best.
I normally make it a point to watch the game too, because it's one of the fun, interesting games that, I mean, it doesn't matter who you're a fan of. You want to see this game. It's a great show. But, I can't watch things that have already happened, especially when people are on Discord all freaking day telling me what's going on. There's no way I could go back and watch a recording of it. I can't do that.
Sorry.
Sorry. Actually, going back to the music, now that I brought it up again, they should have had the Prince hologram. Who I don't even remember the clown they had. That was a joke. Prince hologram all the way, man. They should have won that.
The intermission music was Thomas Rhett, which apparently is some sort of country music star. Yeah.
Who?
And I look, I don't really,
sure.
I don't, right.
It's not my bag.
Right. I don't listen to that
Not my
type
bag
of music,
either.
so I'm sure it was good.
But you're into that.
For people who like that.
Yeah. But then John, like for the Prince thing, they had Dirty Honey. What are they? Is that what they're called? Yeah. Dirty Honey they had them do the Prince cover to open like the broadcast.
Yeah, and I don't want that. That's a cheap ripoff.
I thought it was good. I thought that was good.
It was nice. It was a nice little touch. I appreciate it. But they've done a Prince hologram. It's not like they're like breaking new ground. Redo it. Get the tarp out of storage. Put it up on the freaking stage and play that. Or just replay the Super Bowl show he did a bunch of years ago. You know what I'm talking about? Just replay that. I'm down with that. Pisses me off.
I hear what you're saying. And remember, like we always say, that NHL always strikes out on the music for Winter Classic, All-Star Game,
every time.
And anytime they have somebody on for Stanley Cup. Like, it's always disappointing.
Yeah, without a doubt. I don't like it. Well, they did when Nashville went to the Cup against Pittsburgh. They did have like a bunch of country music people, which every time they were on, I was like, who? And they're like, oh, they're really big country music. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'd like mute it and go do something for like the 5 minutes. And then I come back. So like they kind of, I guess they did something well there, but like it's also Nashville.
Fans.
That's what I'm
for
saying.
Nashville
like,
fans, it was spot on. Like they probably.
I'm sure not all Nashville fans like country music. Come on, man.
No, but many probably do.
Also, I think they were trying to showcase the city too, right?
Yeah, yeah,
correct.
Which is fine. That's good.
Good point. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, I don't. Well, other than Prince, I don't really know a lot of famous musicians from Minnesota.
You know why? Because they don't matter. It's just Prince.
Easy.
Wow. Okay.
They're just trying to stay warm. I mean, it might be that they matter in some way. They're just trying to stay warm. PK almost slew-footed somebody. Saw that clip.
Weird.
Hathaway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that did not go well with Hathaway. Hathaway was not happy about that.
No, that's probably not like if you're gonna do it to him, you better get him.
And you better hurt him.
If you're gonna come at me, you better kill me.
Yeah, exactly.
That dude, he doesn't back down. But yeah, I don't know.
I said it in Discord. They got to start finding him every time that there's an attempt. Finding him, giving him games, hit him somewhere in the wallet that is going to make him stop, because it's a theme. This is how this guy plays, and it has to stop because he's going to hurt somebody bad at some point.
Yeah.
And everybody knows it. Everybody sees it. It's not funny anymore. It was never funny, but it's definitely not funny now because everybody's seeing it. It's like every week one of these clips comes out where he's kicking his leg underneath somebody's feet trying to slew foot him. That's dirty. It's bad.
Well, the other thing that annoys me a lot about the PK Subban thing, do you remember near the end of like Raffi Torres, especially his career? And apparently he's like a youth hockey coach up in Toronto. He does great work with the kids. That's awesome. He would leave his feet to hit people. And there was like near the end of his career, they could point out like 5 or 6 hits before he got suspended where it was like escalating and escalating and escalating. And then he catch somebody at open ice, you know?
Yeah.
And then Matt Cook, same thing. It was like, you know, elbow out, elbow out, elbow out every time. Or the last time he got suspended, it was a knee. So oddly enough, but anyway, like there's a clear like highlight reel, and I'm doing air quotes on that, of what PK Subban does. And it's not like he hurt Reeves. Was it the preseason? I don't remember if it was a preseason or very early in the season. Ryan Reeves is totally fine, but like Reeves should have bagged him for that. But I mean, geez, like what does somebody got to do to the guy?
It's ridiculous. And it's probably unintentional. He probably doesn't realize he's doing it, which makes it worse if you ask me, because that means that he has no control over it. which that means it's gonna hurt somebody bad at some point. It's just a matter of time.
Well, he's already hurt 2 guys.
And he's already hurt people.
Yeah. I mean, he already hurt 2 players. So when he tries to execute it and it doesn't work, like with Hathaway in the game on Sunday, what do you do? Because he could say, "Oh, I wasn't trying to do it because it didn't work."
You know, if I'm Dops right now, then I'm saying you're on notice. And now it doesn't matter if you meant to or not. It doesn't matter what you were doing.
Yeah.
If it looks like it, you're getting dinged.
Yeah.
Like that's how it has to be, I think, because it's just going to continue. And like John says, it's just going to escalate. It's going to get worse until there's an incident, and then they'll get him for it.
Yeah.
But somebody's going to suffer in the meantime, and that's too late.
Yeah. Unfortunately, player discipline in the NHL is always after the fact, right?
Yeah, that's how it. We've talked about this before, and it's not like I get why they do it that way, but it sucks. Like, it's all reactive. It's not proactive. And how do you be proactive and not
right
and also be fair? But it's a darned if you do, darned if you don't sort of situation. So they kind of are doing the only thing that they really can, but it sucks.
Yeah.
You want to see these pattern players who do the same things over and over again. You want to see them get punished lightly when it's not a big deal before it becomes a big deal.
Right.
But you want to see that same treatment across the league. You want it to be fair again for everybody. Call it in the first, call it in the third sort of thing. You know, like you can't be picky and choosy with it.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
You notice who too, especially like, and I'll take it kind of like the first kind of like, let's call it after the lockout till about 5 years ago. Anytime someone was suspended, it was so cut and dry. Like it was like, oh yeah, that guy needs to be suspended. And then it was always, you can kind of figure out like based, I kind of love it because like, oh, well, this person has an in-person hearing. So it's at least 5 and you can go, gauge on that. Then it's reputation, other suspensions. And then like the last 4 years, because if you notice the speed of play, but also too, like some of the head hits are out of it. So now it's these weird kind of like, this guy was turning this way, this guy's going that way type thing where they were lined up, all that nonsense. And sometimes they're pros. So some of that body turning, they're going this way, I'm locked in, etc. I think you could have a little debate with that, but now it's not as cut and dry as it used to be. Like think of some of the suspensions where it was like so cut and dry. The Jason Strudwick one where he got clocked and then he just tomahawked the guy in the stomach. I forget who he hit. That was an easy suspension. Like everyone
easy.
The 2 on Matt Cook, like the 1 on Matt Savard, the other one, I forget who he hit, but like those were like, duh. Like, yes, without a doubt, that's an easy one. But yeah, like then since then it's been this like, did he actually do it? Did he mean to? What's going on? I don't know.
Yeah. Was it a hockey play? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one. It was a hockey play. Like, oh my God. It's a hockey play, but anywhere else it's assault.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right. That's another one down. But as always, you can expect another episode next week. But thank you for listening to this week's episode. And like I say almost every week, be sure to tell your friends, your family, and everybody you know about this show if you like it. It helps us grow. And definitely don't forget to like and rate and review and subscribe on iTunes and all that other stuff. And seriously, it's time to join the Discord. If you've listened to this many episodes, you should jump in the Discord because it's really popping off. There's lots of folks in there chatting all the time, posting memes, posting funny Instagram reels and stuff. You got to come in and check it out. I'm serious. But all right, I'll let you go. Thanks again for listening. We really appreciate you. See you next week.